now. Ambulance is on its way. Backup unit will be there in 5 minutes. Keep us advised of your 20. 10-4. I took my finger off the comm button. Shit, he's fast. I dug in, my air coming out in puffs of vapor in the cool night air. He was definitely freaking, a strength or speed potion probably. But that type of magic wouldn't explain why he mauled that woman in the alley, or those yellow predator's eyes. I tucked that away for the moment and focused on keeping up. The perp loped through the maze of dark alleys and streets as if he knew the cauldron well. But no one knew it better than I did, and I planned to be right behind him when he finally made a mistake. As I ran, my lead cuffs clanked heavily against the wood of my nightstick. The rhythm matched the thumping beats of my heart and the air rasping from my lungs. I had a Glock at my side, but when perps are jacked up on potions, they're almost unstoppable with mundane weaponry, unless you deliver a fatal shot. Killing him wasn't my goal. I wanted the notch on my arrest stats. Stop or I'll salt you! I pulled the salt flare from my left side. The best way to incapacitate a hexhead was to use a little of the old sodium chloride. A loud, snarling grunt echoed back over his shoulder. He picked up the pace, but he wasn't running blind. No, he was headed someplace specific. Prospero, dispatch called through the walkie. Backup is on its way. Copy. The Vic? Ambulance arrived and confirmed death. ME is on his way to make it official. I looked around to get my bearings. He veered right on Mercury Street. The suspect appears to be headed for the arteries, I spoke into the communicator. I'm pursuing. Copy that, Officer Prospero. Be advised you are required to wait for backup before entering the tunnels. She told me their coordinates. I cursed under my breath. They were still 5 blocks away and on foot. A block or so ahead, I could see one of the boarded-up gates that led down into the old subway tunnels. The system had been abandoned 50 years earlier, before the project was anywhere close to completion. Now the tunnel served as a rabbit warren for potion addicts wanting to chase the black dragon in the rat-infested, shit-stench darkness. In front of the gate, a large wooden sign announced the site as the future home of the Cauldron Community Center. Under those words was the logo for Volos Real Estate Development, which did nothing to improve my mood. If Speedy made it through that gate, we'd never find him. The tunnels would swallow him in one gulp. My conscience suddenly sounded a lot like Captain Eldritch in my head. Don't be an idiot, Kate. Wait for backup. I hadn't run halfway through the cauldron only to lose the bastard to the darkness. But I knew better than to enter the tunnels alone. The captain had laid down that policy after a rookie ended up as rat food 5 years earlier. So I wasn't going to follow him there, but I could still slow him down a little. Buy some time for backup to arrive. The salt flare's thick double barrel was preloaded with 2 rock salt shells. A bite from one of those puppies was rarely lethal, but it was enough to dilute the effects of most potions, as well as cause enough pain to convince perps to lie down and play dead. The only catch was, you had to be within 20 feet for the salt to interrupt the magic. The closer, the better, if you wanted the bonus of severe skin abrasions. The runner was maybe 15 feet from me, and a mere 10 from the gate that represented his freedom. Time to make the move. I stopped running and took aim. Exhale, squeeze, boom. The rock salt exploded from the gun in a starburst. Some of the rocks pinged off the gate's boards and metal fittings. The rest embedded in the perp's shirtless back like shrapnel. Small red pockmarks covered the dirty bare skin not covered with tufts of dark hair. He stumbled, but he didn't stay down. Instead, he leaped up the gate, and his hands grasped the top edge. A narrow opening between the gate and the upper concrete stood between him and freedom. Shit! Frustration and indecision made my muscles yearn for action. My only choice was to take him down. Speedy already had his head and an arm through the opening at the top of the gate. I surged up and grabbed his ankles, lifted my feet to help gravity do its job. We slammed to the ground and rolled all asses and